So this week, I'm all about flooring.
Suited really well on the polisher. Quite comical to watch, that's for sure.
Hardwood flooring isn't rocket science.
How difficult can it be?
Sean, this is not good, is it?
Not bad for your first time.
I cannot believe I just did that to the floor.
This week, I'm all about flooring. I actually want to install hardwood floors in my house, so it got me thinking, how do you install floors? How difficult can it be? I have no idea what's involved with installing floors, none whatsoever. So I go and meet with Paul Smith, the owner of Smith Brothers Floors. He's actually a third-generation professional hardwood installer himself.
Nice shot.
You must be Sue.
I am.
Paul Smith.
Hi, Paul. Nice to meet you.
I caught him golfing.
I understand you're going to get me right into the action, teach me how to do it.
You're going to be an expert before you know it.
I love it. Great.
We're apparently not going to mention the golf club at all.
Hey, you know, I really think it's going to be fun. I've been reading up about you guys online and checking out what you do, and I'd love to see how your operation works, what you do, and who works with you. Works with us now,
Yes.
since I'm part of the team.
We look forward to you working with us.
It's going to be fun.
I have someone to introduce you to over here.
Great.
Sue, I'd like to introduce you to my business partner and brother-in-law, Kent Archer.
Hi, Kent. Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, Sue.
After meeting both Paul and Kent, I now feel that I'm going to get a real education on hardwood flooring. So Paul takes me on a tour to see the incredible variety of wood flooring that's available. And his passion for wood, it comes out immediately.
Whenever possible, we try to keep money and jobs in Canada. For instance, Appellation, they're out of Quebec. Vintage, they're out of Toronto. Wonderful product. They have wider plank hand scrape, which is very popular. Down here, we have some larger panels that we put together to show people just a larger sample of what they'd be getting.
And I see you do some custom inlays. I like that.
Love doing custom inlay.
So I know I've come to the right place to learn about installing hardwood, but I just had to call Paul out on that golf thing.
Except for this, I'm not quite sure what the history of this is.
Well, you know, Calgary's winter months are very long.
Clearly, you've been using it quite a bit.
Yes.
All right, you know what? I'm ready to get going. I want to get out there. I want to get to the first job.
Now you work for me, okay?
Yeah.
Honesty, integrity, being on time.
Ooh, honesty, integrity. I'm great with that.
Yes.
Is this an early rising job?
At 7 o'clock.
Oh.
That's what time the people are expecting us.
Oh.
7 a.m.? What are you talking about? What have I gotten myself into here? So Paul sets me up with a great guy named Mitch LaFrance, who I have to meet at 7 a.m. to work on a basement renovation where they're installing cork flooring.
So I see you've already been down here and vacuumed and made it look all pretty.
That's an important part of their job, is that to make sure that the floor is nice and clean.
Thanks for vacuuming before I got here,
Yes,
because I hate vacuuming at my own house. Wow, I love the color down here. This is going to be a fun room when you get it all finished. Wow. Red walls. All right, so you've prepped the floor by cleaning and so on, and now it's uneven.
There's a bump on the outside of the wall, which the concrete has actually gone down a little bit on it.
So in other words,
So-
that's the frame there and the concrete has sunk.
The concrete has settled a little bit, yeah. So we're just going to fill that in with some VC tiles, some vinyl tiles,
Oh,
with a sticky back
Yeah.
material. And actually sticks to the concrete so they won't move around when you...
perfect use for ugly
Yes.
vinyl flooring that nobody wants anymore. Shove it underneath the good floor.
Yes, it's a good thing they may still make them too.
Okay, so how do we know when we need that and then what we do with it?
Well, what we have here is a straight edge, and when we put the straight edge onto the floor, we see we have a gap underneath there.
Okay, and you can slide
So we-
that under.
So we see that because now the vinyl tile has gone underneath it and compensate for that valley that's
And
in
what if you need more than, can you put them on top of each other? Can you
Yes,
stack them?
we can stack one on top of another. We can go as wide as we want.
Yeah.
Looks like we might have to go too wide on this one.
Okay, I
Well-
can help you with that, I think.
Okay, perfect. We can get started then.
So I'm on day one, and we are preparing a cement floor for beautiful cork boards.
Next step, the customers recommended an underlay. It's called a thermal quiet underlay.
Yep.
To muffle the sound when you're walking on it.
Oh, okay, so you don't get that clump,
So you don't,
shoes and...
exactly, yeah, you don't get the clump of the shoes or the noise when you drop something. Or
Is that something that you need then, because it is the concrete underneath? You want something in between the floor and the concrete itself?
with the cork, you don't need anything.
Yeah.
But on the concrete, you need to put a vapor barrier, either 6 mil or 8 mil.
Okay.
Preferably 8 mil.
Just to keep any moisture from coming up through the concrete?
Yes, yeah. But this thermal quiet comes with a vapor barrier as well, so you don't need both of them.
So it's all in one?
It's all in one.
They can dance the night away down here and have fun in a party room.
That's
no
right.
sound. It's nice
That's
and
right.
quiet, well insulated.
That's right, they could two-step the night away.
Love it. I'll jump. And then you just literally lay the cork down on top. It doesn't seem terribly difficult. There's not a lot that I can destroy, Mitch.
Okay, well, we at Smith Brothers brought you a little something. Ain't that sweet?
I am ready to go to work, Mitch.
Let's rock and roll.
All right. Mitch, these are really heavy. I don't think this is in my contract. So when you look at this cork, actually, I didn't realize on the underside of it, it does look like
This is actually cork on
the
the
cork
bottom.
board.
It is cork on the bottom.
Yeah.
It's got a groove,
Right.
a tongue and a groove.
So you need to take that off.
We need to take that off.
It's like you've done this before, Mitch.
Just a little bit of practice here. And we can lay the first 2 rows.
I can't hear you. What? Oh,
You really want to start with the first board being very flush here.
yep.
So that when the second board comes into it, you don't have a gap on that board or this board.
Because you really do need it literally to click in, don't you?
That's right, and for it to click in, it's got to click. So that's why they call it a click system.
Genius, Mitch. Genius.
Yes, genius. We have our first row in.
Yay.
Now we have special little shims. What we want to do is use these little shims.
Okay. And is it because this is a natural product that there is some movement with it?
It does expand and contract. So second row,
Yep.
you don't want it to click together.
Okay.
Just want it rested on there. Then you put the ends together.
And why is that? Why don't you want to butt it up really tight to start with?
Because once it's clicked in,
You can't move it again.
you can't move it again.
Gotcha.
Just watch your fingers when you put it down.
Okay. Now I'm not totally tight in here. Does that matter?
Yes, it does matter.
Because it won't click, will it?
There.
There. It just went.
Hey, I'm getting the hang of this.
So remember, we're against the wall.
Yep.
So we got to come back about 3/8.
Okay. Oh, Mitch, you're slightly off.
More?
Push it a little back this way. There, perfect. Good thing I'm here to double check your work. Is it time for a coffee break yet?
This is the only row I do like this
Yep.
because for me, you don't have to pound on the wood to try to get in and disturb that first board. That's a thing you don't want to do.
Okay.
So
But we need to butt it up closer than it is.
we will come and lift it up at an angle,
Okay.
like so, and just get it started. You don't have to click it in. And Torley provides a nice little tapping block. So now, we started with a full board, or almost a full board.
Yep.
So this is the first joint. We don't want to end up at that same spot on this third board, fourth board.
You never do?
No, you want to stagger it. So you want to stagger at least a foot.
Okay.
8 inches a foot from that first one.
How many boards apart should be, or should they never, ever line up
They
through the entire floor?
can't say it never. It might happen because of a doorway or something like that. But
You should really avoid
You should-
ever lining up.
yes, because it's the aesthetics of it.
Right.
You look at it, it's
Okay.
no boards line up.
It's not pleasing. Not pleasing to the eye.
Not pleasing to a lady's eye.
Okay, perfect. Man, you wouldn't even notice it, would you? What board?
Men wouldn't notice it.
And you were telling me earlier that you can actually, if you so desired, take this apart, unclick it, go put it in another room if you want.
Yes, and or remove a board in the center of the room if you
If
can.
there's something that's damaged or
Yes.
whatever. If you move, you pick it up and take it with you.
Only if your house is sold and you got the check in the bank.
Good plan. I'll remember that. All right, but now we're going backwards. This is very confusing for me.
No, it's okay. With the Torley Uniclick stuff system, it's not a problem.
Doesn't
you can go
matter.
that way, or that way.
Perfect.
So as long as we go all ways and the whole floor is covered,
Then we're good.
then we're good.
In the end, we've done our job, right?
That's right.
Are we in there at the back?
Bit more.
Can the average homeowner do something like this? I suppose you could lay the cork yourself, but as you said, it's really about what goes underneath, isn't
That's the
it?
preparation is the number one thing.
We're all finished, and it looks fantastic down here.
Wonderful. Well, I hope the customer's happy.
I hope so too. I think it looks amazing. It's a great product. I love that, you know, it's a green product.
Great.
I'm really impressed.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to install it.
It was fun. Thanks for
Thank you.
working with me.
Great.
I did it. I installed a cork floor with the help of Mitch. Okay, so there was a lot of help from Mitch, but I did it. So the next day, Paul requested that I meet him at the next job, something a little more difficult.
Today you're going to be installing pre-finished hardwood flooring.
Oh, okay. Can I get into much trouble?
Of course.
Good. Well, then everything should work out
Everything
just
should
fine.
be good.
Paul obviously doesn't know me very well. I get into trouble a lot.
Good morning.
Sue, I would like to introduce you to your installer today, Brad.
Hi, Brad. Nice to meet you.
He's going to look after you.
Excellent. Thank you. So what's going on here?
You'll notice we've got a 5-row border around the perimeter of the room. And we're going to start nailing in the flooring in the inlay part, and it's going to be on a 45-degree angle.
Very different. It's beautiful.
All right, well, we'll get you to punch in a couple of boards.
You might want to step away after that because it could get dangerous. Just telling you right now.
Actually, the nailer's a pretty safe toy, so
I've heard that
no
before.
worries.
Oh, you got me a
And
pink
you got a nice pretty
mallet.
pink one.
Thank you. I feel so at home.
There, you just want to make sure that it is tight against both edges.
Before I
And just give it a good bang with the rubber side of the
Before I
mallet.
get to this?
Yes.
I like hitting things.
There you go. The nails should be roughly about 6 to 8 inches apart.
In other words, that's not right?
And the trouble begins. So I'm on job number 2, and Brad is teaching me to install pre-finished hardwood floor. And I actually quite like doing it because it does involve using a hammer.
Now remember, you want to go 6 to 8 inches.
And I'm already getting into trouble.
The one thing about installing hardwood flooring is it's not rocket science. She was a little delicate in trying to get the boards together. Tap the top of that with the hard part of your mallet. There you go.
You want a pretty floor at the end of this job.
Well, and with the vintage product, I mean, they've really got a real consistent milling. So this floor really comes together.
Well, I think it was going a little bit too slow for Brad, so I did what I had to do. I tried charming him.
You and I could make a good team, you know. Maybe a side job?
Well, I'm looking for a helper.
Okay, deal. You're a good teacher.
Next, we left the install to go to a room that had already been finished, but Brad had uncovered a little problem in the floor and we had to fix it.
The board had a knot in the center of the wood.
As long as we make it very clear, I didn't actually do this.
No, you
This
didn't.
was totally not me. This was you this time.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And I never found this problem until after I started cleaning the floor.
And now
so-
it's in the middle of a floor that you finished, so you don't pull all the wood away and start fresh.
No.
You can actually cut a board out from the middle of a floor.
You can.
Wow, I want to see this.
All right. So I'm just going to break that seam there with a chisel. And now I'm going to try and remove the center.
Brad was like a surgeon, how he cut in there and then just peeled that one little piece of board out of the floor. It was amazing.
We got a nice fitting board I cut for you.
Okay.
So what we want to do, and I'll get you to put this board in,
Sure.
is just try
I got
and
the easy job.
get the tongue into the groove area. Oh, you're being too kind to it.
Really?
We just started beating that board to death.
I feel better. Got it?
And
You would never even know.
just like me.
The pre-finished vintage hardwood floor with the 45-degree insert was just gorgeous when it was completed. Brad was an incredibly talented installer, but my education was not finished yet. The next day I met Paul at my 3rd job, and this one was going to be the toughest one yet.
We're going to sand and finish a floor. So let's go inside and I'll introduce you to Sean.
Perfect, let's do it.
Great.
Nice to meet you, Sean.
Nice to meet you, Sue.
You may be seeing stars at the end of this. I apologize right now. Thanks.
I'll leave you in his capable hands.
Perfect. Do I need any special equipment to get going, Sean?
You're gonna need some hearing protection. It's gonna get a little loud.
Well, that sounds ominous.
We're gonna start off with this machine.
Okay.
It's a Hummel, it's a 220 volt machine. It's very powerful.
And you're gonna let me drive this thing?
Yeah, are you up for it?
I have been known to bleed on the work site, so I just want you to know I brought my own personal paramedic with me in case anything goes haywire. Call him in, okay? He's got a full set of Princess Band-Aids for me.
Even though the client was still living in the house, Sean told me we could sand the floors with little or no dust at all if you have the right equipment.
We have this Bona dustless containment system. It makes it very dustless in here.
So you don't have to tape off the whole area. It makes it a lot cleaner for the homeowner when they come back in.
Exactly, there's far less dusting.
Fair enough. Do I need like an S-Class license to drive this or anything?
Actually, yes. Did you not have one?
No.
This is your emergency. If you get into trouble, hit this.
Thank you for showing me that.
Yes.
Very important.
Before Trig comes and gets you. You want to keep this slightly rolling as you lower this level.
Right.
And when you get to the wall, you're going to want to
Go through
slowly raise this up. And then you're going to want to roll it a little bit again and then put it back down. Your turn.
Great.
Here we go.
I did a little bit of damage, I think.
You did quite a bit of damage.
Look at that, 4 or 5 passes and I trashed the floor.
Yeah, so next time what you want to do is, these are called stop marks.
Yeah.
It's where the drum is still on the floor and you let it sit there.
How far would that go down if you left it sitting there?
Right to the basement. It'd go right
Seriously,
through the
it would not
house.
stop?
No. Yeah, it's really powerful. So you really want to be cautious with it, take it slow. Definitely want to lift up your drum on your way back and your way forward, or you can make some pretty big digs, as we found out.
You're really bad.
I've seen worse.
I told you I'm not really good at this kind of
That's
stuff.
all right, it's a learning experience.
Okay, good. I cannot believe I just did that to the floor. Sean says he's not mad, but how could he not be? He looks furious. I would be mad. He's got to do a whole lot of work now to try and fix what I just did. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate it.
So it's day 3 and I'm deep into sanding and refinishing this hardwood floor with Sean. But there's a lot more work to be done.
Explain what we've done so far at this process.
You have sanded the field
Yep.
with a 40 grit on a slight angle. We have done the perimeter with 40 grit with the edger.
I've done some damage.
You've done a little damage,
Yeah.
fixable damage, and now we're going to fill.
Okay, so filling has nothing to do with the actual color that will end up on the floor. This is just to seal cracks and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly, it's just to fill the cracks and
Okay.
voids. Rotate it back and forth, filling the cracks.
That seems so simple.
It seems simple.
Oh,
Let's
but
give
it's
you
not?
a try. It's a little tricky. You just want to put a little bit more pressure. There you go.
Sean, something I can almost do.
That's right. Very nice.
Sean, of course, is a little faster at filling than I was. Just a little. And then when it was all done, I found out we actually had to get down and scrape out the corners by hand.
We got you a little present as of Smith Brothers.
Aw, and it's
pink one.
pink.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Is it really sharp?
It will be.
Slightly less destructive with a scraper. Next, we move on to another powerful machine, the polisher, to finely sand all that filler off. And I guess I didn't do so well with that one either, so I have been relegated to vacuuming. And we finally get to the finishing stage.
So what we're going to do is use a Bona TTS sealer.
Okay.
And that goes on bare wood before you can put the 2-component commercial finish, which is called traffic.
Okay.
So this is a very important step.
So this isn't actually anything to do with the color. It's just sealing the wood.
It's going to bring color.
Okay.
It's a pretty clear finish.
Yep.
And one thing I forgot to tell you, it's water-based, so it dries quick.
Okay.
So you got to move.
Well, then hurry up.
With finishing, you want to be really careful to get it everywhere. You don't want any thin spots or misses. They're very noticeable, especially with your sealer, because it's a different color than your next coat.
When we were finished, it looked great, but I had to leave. Sean still needed another full day to finish his sanding and put the top coat down, and of course he had to fix my big mistake. Sorry, Sean. Then I made my way back to Smith Brothers headquarters to get my final report card.
Mr. Paul Smith.
Sue, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Great. It's good to see you in one piece.
I know, it's great to be back. I had so much fun working with your guys.
Well, the guys had a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think I did an okay job, and that's kind of why I came back, because I heard you had a report card for me.
Well, there's always room for you in light housekeeping.
So I did that well, did I?
You did that well.
Yeah.
Like I say, the guys enjoyed working with you. It did take them a little time to fix some mistakes that were made.
They were minor errors. Okay, there might have been a
Sure.
couple of big ones, but that's the joy of learning a new job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part did you enjoy the most?
I found it really fascinating, first of all, just from start to finish, how much work is involved in getting ready to and then installing a floor. And there's so many tricks to the trade. It's really not as easy as it looks. Perhaps not the job for me in the future, but it could be a fallback later on.
It could be a fallback,
Yeah.
yes. A little more schooling would be good.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I appreciate you letting me work with your team, and I have something in return to give you to say thank you.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah,
And it fits.
I know.
And it's pink.
It's you.
It is me.
Thank you so much. You know what? It's all about pink, and you will forever remember me. I expect you to wear that at every job.
As far as you know, I will.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe I'll be back one day.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank
It was
you
a lot
very
of fun.
much.
Take care.
Bye.
Working with Smith Brothers Floors taught me a lot about what you need to know when you're finishing and installing floors. And I really couldn't have asked for any better instructor on the job.
What?
Sue, what's wrong?
I'm trying to keep my boots perfect. Look at Sean splashed finish all over them. What am I supposed to do now?
The work boots.
I know, but look at how pretty they look. They're perfect. I didn't want any junk on them.
And we have a forklift and tool saw.
Did anyone tell you that I love to drive a forklift? Can
No.
I drive the forklift?
Today's episode of Remodel It With Her features the music of Tessa Drummond.
My forklift back.
Say what?
I need my forklift back.
I can't hear you.
My forklift.
Yep.
I'm not working in these conditions, forget it. For more information about today's episode and hardwood flooring, visit facebook.com/remodelitwithher.